I know, I don't want to start yet.
Okay.
Gloria Scott was a good friend of mine in high school, along with Victor Trevor. Gloria and I came to SACU together. She was my roommate freshman year. At this point in my life, I was not going to be a detective. My deduction skills were used purely for fun. Victor had suggested at one point that I join the police, but I knew that wasn't my style. I fully intended on pursuing a career in chemistry or psychology. Gloria was a journalism major and a criminal. She started school over the summer semester before me. When I joined her in the fall, she already had a boyfriend. And he was, well, he was not very nice. I'm not sure what order to tell the story in. In November of our first semester, Gloria got sick. She stopped going to class, she barely left her bed, but she refused to see a doctor. There was nothing I could do. I mean, I could have called a doctor, but she didn't wish it, and, well, on November 19th, I came back to find her hanging from the rod in her closet. It wasn't a suicide, I knew that immediately. It was murder. I tried to tell the police as much, but they wouldn't listen, even though I had evidence. Gloria didn't have any suicidal tendencies, first of all, but more importantly, the rope that had been used was one I had never seen before. Gloria could barely leave her bed, much less the room. Where had she gotten a rope? The police insisted that she must have had it already, but I had never noticed. But as you know, Watson, I notice everything. Additionally, her blanket was half on the floor, the trash can next to her bed had been knocked over, her fingernails were broken, the marks on her neck were consistent with someone fighting against an attack, not a suicide victim regretting their choice halfway through suffocation. I told a police officer this. He laughed at the phrase, suicide victim, and I punched him in the face, and that is how I spent a night in jail.
Oh my god, I'm living with a criminal.
I think I became more famous for being Gloria's crazy roommate than Gloria did for dying. Our good friend, Tabitha Gregson, got her job at the school paper, and I was her first big story. You see, the police may not have believed me, but Jennifer Lestrade, daughter of the police chief, she did believe me. She helped me do a little digging, and what we discovered was this. On November 8th, there had been a bank robbery, of all things, downtown. Thousands of dollars stolen, one bank teller shot in the leg. On that same day, November 8th, Gloria had come home angry, saying she had had a fight with her boyfriend. What I realized was this. He and two of his friends were the robbers. Gloria was the getaway driver. She didn't approve of the teller being shot. She didn't approve of the robbery to begin with, but she wanted to go along with his big plans. The hunt for the robbers began. The stress got to her. She was about to confess. So her dear, loving boyfriend strangled her to death. It turns out accusing your fellow classmate of murder and having no evidence is enough to get your name on the front page of the SACU paper. In my efforts to convince the police that I was right, I almost got expelled and arrested again for obstruction of justice, which is ridiculous. Eventually they just decided I was mourning and left me alone. Possibly my sister stepped in. And don't think for a second that I wasn't aware of Malcolm watching over me on her behalf, making sure I didn't go to prison or hurt myself, reporting my actions back to her. Once again, it was Victor who suggested that I become what I now call a consulting detective, and Lestrade was my means to do that. Suddenly, she was everything her father wanted in his daughter. She got her internship, Tabitha's attentions turned to her rather than me. Everyone forgot about Gloria. The school returned to normal, and that's where we are.
But what about her boyfriend?
I had no concrete proof that he killed her.
You didn't find any fingerprints or footprints or any of the other stuff I've seen you find in countless other cases that I've seen you solve, and...
Fingerprints are nearly impossible to find. Where would they have been left? On the rope? And if the police had found fingerprints elsewhere in the room, it wouldn't have been suspicious. He was her boyfriend. He was there all the time. And footprints where? On our tile floor? I couldn't even find a concrete connection between him and the robbery, and if I had, they would have condemned Gloria for that as well. No, the only way I could have possibly caught him was if he had confessed.
Then get him to confess.
It's too late, the case is closed.
You're just gonna let him get away with it?
I can't solve everything.
But you did solve it. Where is he now?
Now? He's probably at his 5 o'clock geography class.
He's still here? You're just letting him walk around on campus?
I don't let him do anything.
What's his name?
I can't tell you that.
You have to tell me.
No, I don't. If you really want to know, you can find it on the internet along with his picture, but you're not going to look him up, because you wouldn't be able to stand it if you met him and you knew. If you saw him on campus one day and you knew, that would kill you.
It's already killing you.